Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa has just concluded the officiating of the return of fallen soldiers from Zambia and Zimbabwe who will go to their respective homes following this historic ceremony to celebrate their lives and legacy and their contribution towards the liberation struggle and the constitutional democracy that we enjoy today. A part that has been missing from this conversation is the work of the National Prosecuting Authority, specifically the work of the Missing Persons Task Team that does a lot of work beyond what we've seen today. And I think it's important to bring in historian and lead of that investigative team, Madeleine Fullard, to join us now to explain further the kind of work that goes into this very, very important sacred mission to bring a lot of these activists who were lost during exile or whatever the case may be back to South Africa to their final resting place. I'm sure this was quite the exciting project to finally get the go-ahead to bring back these remains to South Africa. I mean, how do you begin a mission like this?
Well, I must say today is really the culmination of a long-standing dream that we've had to be able to work on the remains of those who died in exile. For many years, the families of those cadres have approached us for help, desperate to find out where they were buried, how they died, what happened, and so on. And we've been gathering names, collecting data for a very long time. So actually the excavation process is really the final phase because there's a lot of research, investigation, grave mapping, using GPS coordinates to try to locate the graves. And then we were finally able now in the month of September to go and do the actual physical recovery, which was extremely hard work in a very short space of time. We did face challenges, but generally we overcame those. There are 7 cases where we will still be doing DNA because of certain discrepancies around dental information, the positioning of a tombstone, and so on. So out of an abundance of caution, and because we want to be certain that we return the correct remains to each family, we made a recommendation in those 7 cases that DNA tests be conducted first before they are repatriated. But the other 42 have arrived, and it's an absolute highlight for us. We are overwhelmed and excited. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of archive for some of these activists that were active during the liberation struggle, but of course the PAC has spoken about some of them that weren't known to us. How does the Missing Persons Task Team find these individuals? What information do you use to find those that may not have had a name but equally contributed to this democracy?
So for example, we have the case of we call them the Zambezi River 7. On the 13th of September 1988, they were crossing the Zambezi River in a dinghy, which was attacked by a hippo, and 7 of the 8 drowned. And their bodies were only recovered after some days. They couldn't be individually identified by then, and they were too swollen to fit into coffins. They were wrapped in blankets and buried in Livingstone, and it was a real mission to locate them. And I want to say thank you to Anthea and Pat Ricketts, who did wonderful assistance in locating those graves. And we were able to recover them, and we found them wrapped in the blankets that they were originally wrapped in. You know, these very personal items with them, an asthma pump, a compass around the neck of one of them, which was, just so moving to see those. So there are, and those individuals will be identified through DNA because we won't know which one is which. There are other challenges, water table level in the cemetery, the loss of records. Fortunately, in Zimbabwe, there were excellent records. In Zambia, some of the records were good, some of them non-existent. And so there are still many individuals we have to recover from Zambia, but these were the ones that we could locate basically in time for the launch. And the families whose loved ones are still in Zambia or Zimbabwe or other countries should not panic that they've been left out. We are going to be working on Group 2 for Zambia and Zimbabwe, and we are going to be beginning work in Angola and other countries very soon.
I'm very curious about these countries that you have mentioned. I'm sure with the success of this project, everyone's looking to this task team to see if it is even possible to get into Tanzania and Angola. We understand that some of those mass graves are not accessible in a safe manner or logistically safe manner for the task team and the your project members to get those mortal remains back. Is it looking good for the remainder of those mortal remains that could be in Angola and Tanzania, or can we expect that that won't be an easy task for?
It won't be an easy task, but we will use demining experts where necessary. We have personnel on our team who are the world experts in working on mass graves. One of our colleagues from Argentina, who's part of our team, worked on recovering the remains of all the mass graves in Yugoslavia and the disappeared in Argentina. So we really have, I think, the best available skills on our team. And look, there is no conflict, no war where the body of every single soldier can be recovered. I think also there will be cases where we are unable to recover remains, but we will be able to recover many, and we're going to do our very best to recover those. And I think for families where we are not able to recover remains, we will develop symbolic reburial processes. We will take families to the sites in a way we are able to honor and recognize their contribution and their loss as well.